Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. So, I was at a social mixer the other day. Hmm. I go to these social mixers once a month. I go to a few things. Okay, every time I go anywhere, it's for field research. it's it's. I had so much insight, and so here's how it goes. I got my little perspective, and I'm sitting in my house in my little perspective, and then I realized after a while that my perspective, well, I get too lost into the other realm. There is another world, an energy world that exists beyond this one. Tesla saw it, Einstein saw it, and both of them commented quite regularly on it. I grew up in it. I grew up in it, and then I was informed that I was crazy and insane. And after all of my healing, it's still there. And I was like, what the fuck? It's not a figment of my imagination because I'm healed, which really started me to ask about what's going on. I looked into imagination. I looked into the physics of imagination. And I started to notice that Tesla and Einstein and Newton talk quite regularly about this other world. And I went, huh. You see, every little thing that we have evolves for a reason. And if we don't need it, we unevolve from it, which is why we no longer have flippers. Which really brings me to the question, why do we have an imagination? I can't get over this question. Why do we have an imagination? If it's the stuff of children that let's throw man out. Let's completely take everything that we should and shouldn't do and just close the door in Wonderland. Because so long as I think within their criteria of what is sane or insane, right or wrong, real or not real, I'm going to put limitations on myself. And that's the problem. So we're going to put ourselves in a space that's completely independent from their close-minded and close-heartedness. Now, it's left over from that Victorian era that's like, oh, if we can't understand it, it's not allowed. It's a witch. Burn her, throw her at the bottom of the river, and if she floats, she's a witch. It's that mindset. And it is still very much present. Oh, yeah. Lots of people still function on that mindset. And when you're sitting there in a world of Da Vinci and Newton and Tesla and Einstein, and you want to ask questions, and you've got, well, the small minded freaking out because they're too scared to grow, it puts limitations on you. So we're going to step out of the limitations and really sit down and ask this. There is a world of energy out there. There are a group of really smart people called physicists who spend their entire day doing nothing but poking at that world. We call those particle physicists, and they work at CERN. CERN depends on where you're from. So there is a world of energy. That is not in question. There's a world of energy. We know about this world. To assume or to think that it is separate from the material plane is small-minded. It is absolutely part of us. If you look at the entire nervous system, if you look at the brain, it's nothing but a massive oh, holy shit, look at this thing. It's like, oh my God, the brain is hardwired to connect to this energy world. Fascinating, isn't it? And then you have Tesla and Einstein, two of the world's leading physics, not just of their time, but ever. And they see it and they're talking about it. Now, I grew up in it. I grew up playing with this thing. I was like, woohoo, imagination. And I saw the energy and I play around with it. So it's home to me. So when I finally reached that point where I accepted it, and that's really all it was. It wasn't that I couldn't see it. It was that, oh, I could see it. I was ostracized for it, called a witch, burned at the stake. And when it was all done and said, I was like, huh. So this figment of my imagination is real and it's not part of my power. It's real. but not everyone can see it. Now, the more you heal, the more close you get to it. Bottom line, the reason why you're not close to it now is because you're broken. You're not really broken, you're suppressed. And it's in all of us. It's very much a part of us. But because it's ethereal, we completely cut it off and we throw it away. But we are hardwired for this thing. My God, are we? So we have this ethereal realm and we're rejecting it. Bottom line, closed minds reject it, which open minds can see it. And that's really the crux right there. Open minds can see it. And yeah, I went quite a while in my life where I never talked about it. And I had engagement last night. So this is how I am when I go to an event. I walk the room to assess my boundaries and I decide, where am I? Who am I? Where am I to relative to everything? Do I know anyone here? No, I'm good. Then I sit down. And then I start observing, what kind of people am I here with? And I start to look at all of the energy that I've got all around me. For the most part, I see the same energy. I see a lot of fives. Well, in the event that I go to, everyone's a six. Every event I go to, everyone's a six. But I see sixes carrying around twos. I see sixes carrying around fours. I see sixes carrying around ones. I see sixes carrying around fours. I have a very unique niche that I am attracted to. And I almost never see it. So I have long since given up on, eventually I'll find one or two. But it's at a point where I would say the majority of people I see are, in my world, are sixes, very easily put down by ones, twos, or threes. You can see authenticity. You can see it. It's so unique. You can see it. And that's just it. Authenticity exists in the ethereal realm. When you are purely of your own perspective, and when you are purely open to accept 100% of what and who you are, and when you are completely 100% authentic, you connect and hook right up to the ethereal realm. I have several of my friends who are really good readers, like really good astrological readers. And every time around this, every month, every season that we go through a massive energy shift, she asks for everybody's information, and I always throw mine out there. And I'm like, I'm a Taurus, and a Leo rising. And she goes, oh my God, you have 3 fixed signs. How are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. This is fantastic for me. I live in the energy pool, so it's fine. And that's just it, is once you hook up to the energy pool, once you step into it and you learn how to live there, once you've completely accepted all of you, you're there. You're there. So when the energy does what the energy does, you can just, it's a shower. It's an energy shower. It's like an energy bath. So right now I'm going through an energy bath. That's what it is. And it's interesting because this is the time period where a lot of sixes basically resist it, and they just put their head down, put their head between their knees, and just breathe deeply. And it's like, use it to heal. Use it to heal. Allow it. Shake it off. It's showing you where everyone has invaded your perspective. That's it, really. Closed-minded, open-minded. Connection, huh? Connection. So the first person I noticed was a woman on the couch. And she talked to me. I slid right over and I'm like, all right, why are you here? What are you looking for? And I realized that we have a script, the expectations script. And I can't follow that script. I don't have it. I've never had it. I don't understand it. Everyone else seems to have it. Everyone else is really good with managing this script. My partner doesn't have it. He can't figure it out. He tries and he keeps trying. I gave up the script. He does really well when he goes off script. On script is, so what do you do for a living? Where are you from? Those are personal questions. How about if you ask me something not so personal from a stranger? How about if we go off script? So, usually when they ask me the question, where are you from? What do you do for a living? I have tried a number of different things. I have experimented with different social answers, social situations, trying to see which one navigates the field. And I have figured out which ones navigate the field. When you go off script, you have to be authentic. If you try and tell lies, it doesn't work. If you try and cater to the script, it doesn't work. You have to be real. Your questions have to be real. Now, one of the weird things about me is that I never ask anyone anything about themselves, almost never. Last night, somebody said that to me. He's like, you can ask me anything you want. I said, I never ask anybody anything, ever. And he said, why? And I always thought it was because I was rude. And I said, because I speak energy, because I speak authenticity, because I speak identity, and I speak subconscious mind. So by the time a person opens their mouth to me, I've already read them. You get to the words, and all I hear is a bunch of lies, or a bunch of masks, or a bunch of not truths, regurgitated from an expectations script that society says they have to follow. So I don't actually learn anything from the words you say. So why would I ask you questions? He gave me the look. I've learned to accept the look. I spoke to somebody else, and we went into this massive, deep. He started the conversation with, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I want in life. I feel lost. I just had a feeling that I needed to come here, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. This is my people. So I gave him my perspective. And he asked me questions that my podcast is partly a journal. It's self-discovery, it's self-exploration. There was this moment a few weeks ago where I had to really accept that I'm smart. I was resisting that one for a long time. And after last night, I went, okay, maybe I'm smarter than I realized. He asked me, do we all just look like a bunch of monkeys to you? Yes. Yes. Yeah. He says, how does it feel? Being as smart as you are, what is your IQ even? Do you know? I told him what I was scored at when I was 15. And he was like, what? And he's like, what's it like? And I said, it's lonely. I can't have small talk. I can't do small conversations. I can't do mundane things. I can't follow scripts. I can't follow. I can draw people into my world. No one ever draws me into mine. Let me rephrase that. I can pull people into my mind. No one can ever pull me into theirs. I really wish they could. One man could. That's why he's my partner. It's because he could play with me. He could lay out a world that I could see, like I lay out worlds, and pull me into it. And I walked away with that experience going, I would love to play in other people's worlds. But in order to do that, people have to accept that this other world exists. And they are so oblivious that there is an energy world. So last night at this casual mixer, I talked about Tesla, I talked about Einstein, I talked about the societal chains and the human condition. And there were 3 people. The first one very openly said, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going in life. I don't know who I am. And then I showed him my world. The second person was a gamer. So we bonded over every nerd fandom you can think of. He brought game. So I went, all right. Nerd is probably about as realistic as I can get as far as coming down out of my ethereal world. So I did. That was fun. And then there was another person. Now, all 3 of these peoples approached me. This one particular one, I'm going to speak from ethereal because that's easier for me. I could feel his intention of sex without any desire to connect. I could feel his priority of sex over any interest in connection. When he did try to have a conversation with me, it was to prove his own intelligence by one-upping me and out-arguing me. And he was more focused on winning the argument than actually enjoying the conversation. That's what it felt like. And I'm the kind of person where I'm going, interesting. He uses words and intelligence as a power struggle. So, he wanted to kiss me. I said yes. I wanted to kiss him because I was curious and I wanted the data. But I noticed right away that there is stages, and he very much was asking for kissing way too soon. And I went, interesting. No emotional connection, but he's wanting kissing. Now, the other guy, we did kiss. There was emotional connection after we talked for like an hour. So I kissed 2 people last night. The first one, it felt good. The second one is like, dude, you've totally gutted the emotional connection. And I was able to identify several things with myself. I was able to analyze the process and break that down. So I walked away from the experience a lot. I learned a lot. And then, yeah, I could see it. He was like on stage 3. He's talking about all the stuff he's got and all the entertaining of me he was going to do. And I'm going, dude. And then after the kiss, he felt that was carte blanche and permission to just touch me wherever. So that was like a huge dude. Yeah, no. And my first thought was, oh, he's an intellect. He'll sit down and talk to me. I need to stop being so prejudiced about intellects. Just because they are intellects doesn't mean they're assholes. Intellects can be assholes too. I need to accept that. So, yeah, and that's really hard for me because I'm struggling, and I should know better. That just because somebody is an intellect does not mean that they're not going to be without ethics. unless you like, and I don't know. I've never gotten to a seventh, eighth, ninth perspective. He was clearly a fifth perspective. And I knew from his language, he was easily in the patriarchy. You can always tell when somebody's outside of the patriarchy based on what words they use. Ooh, that brings me to another conversation that I wanted to have. I'm composing a list of words, and it's a list of basically labels that the patriarchy came up with to keep us in our place. And once you start to hear the words, I'll go through it at some point with you, but it's just, my daughter was watching the show House last night. I have watched the show House 8 million times. I actually owned it on DVD before I lost it. So now I was like watching it again. And it's the first time I'm watching it with an understanding of where my brain is. And I'm going, oh, I want to talk about my brain. It's not talking about it is like, why wouldn't I talk about this? And it's when I was talking, so I'm watching House, I'm psychoanalyzing House. I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch an episode. And while I'm watching it, I'm going to probably going to do this on Twitch where I'm going to watch it and then I'm going to stop it and I'm going to psychoanalyze it. Okay, this is what this means. This is what's going on here. This is how this all, or I'm just going to watch it and then I'm going to psychoanalyze it and break it down because, oh my God, I understand why he's so angry. He's angry because of yeah. And the episode I was watching last night, it was the one with Henry Giles, the jazz musician who is paralyzed with Lou Gehrig's disease, but it's not Lou Gehrig's disease. It was a sloppy diagnosis. Okay, so it wasn't a sloppy diagnosis. It's just that it required a genius to see the diagnosis. And House saw it and he went, well, that's a sloppy diagnosis. And I'm right there with House going, yeah, that is a sloppy diagnosis. And then you look at the guy who diagnosed him with Lou Gehrig's disease, and the guy wasn't sloppy. He was actually higher functioning, really intelligent, highly accomplished doctor. But in comparison to all the Einsteins and Teslas, he looks like an idiot. And that's where I am with psychology. I am Dr. House of psychology. And I'm going, so this is the fun part. I'm watching Dr. House, and there is more psychology in that show. And I'm just watching it going, oh, so much fun. Now, House is also a narcissist, which is really fun to watch because he is a bitter narcissist with a brain like that. That should be the glue. That no one... See, in my brain, I'm going, once you hit a certain intelligence level, you shouldn't be mentally ill. So how is it certain people can be mentally ill if they're a certain level of smart? It doesn't make sense to me. But, and my daughter pointed this out, she says, Mom, your specialty is psychology. That does make sense. Yeah, okay, perspective. We have this expectation of intelligence. We do. We put this God standard on intelligence. And I can feel it. I remember when I was healing, oh my God, one of the big things that I was doing when I was healing was coming into my intelligence, realizing, oh, this is what I am. And it was a massive, final acceptance of acknowledging who and what I am and allowing it. And as soon as I opened that gate, it was amazing to watch. I went from here to way up here, and suddenly everything got clearer, easier, simpler, and I can feel it again. I'm still suppressing it. I am still suppressing and holding back my intelligence. And I'm looking at the videos I recorded yesterday going, yeah, I'm just scratching the surface. And I'm just... And I don't talk at all about this. It's hard because what I need is a peer. I would really love some peers. And it's just frustrating. I remember the first time I had this problem, I was 16. And I was just so lonely because everyone I talked to was like a bunch of monkeys. And that was the first time I noticed it, like really noticed it. And I think my daughter is this way. I think my daughter, oh, my daughter has my brain. My oldest daughter has my brain. I know what she is. It never occurred to me. My other two children have it too, but they both suppress it. My son suppresses it a lot. My youngest, or my youngest, Elizabeth. Yeah, she's fucking smart. But Emily is on par with me. The problem is she's got very much the grandiose narcissism going, the bitterness going. And I think, oh, if a person is smart, they can't have emotions. They can't be fooled by psychology. How could somebody who's smart be fooled by psychology? And when it happens to me, I go, why? How? For me, it's like logic and intelligence versus psychology. It's like this, I'm not psychology, but the subconscious mind. And I'm just going, how can it not? We are all just looking for ourselves. We're looking for our community and looking for our direction. That's all we're doing. It's the philosopher's compass. We're all looking for self. We're looking for our community. And we are looking for our direction, our heading. And none of us know how to get there or how to do it. So I'm in the community section where I've figured out how to get to the self, and I've documented that, and now I know how to teach it to people so people can also figure out themselves. Now I'm going, all right, now community. How do you navigate community? How do you find your community? And that's pretty much what I'm doing, is I'm looking for my community. And I'm going, well, what would my community be? Well, my community would literally be what I am. And so we're back to... And there's this one person I spoke to last night. The nerd who jived with me. You know, it's interesting because both men, the one I met last night and then the one who I have a date with, not a date. Oh, can't say that word. So says the subconscious mind. It's not a date. I got to come up with another word for that. They're both nerds, and we both connected over nerd things. So I'm going more and more, maybe nerd things is what I need to connect on. Maybe that's my core community thing of, if you're not into nerd shit, it's not going to work for us. Not even a little bit. Yeah, that's a really good thing for me. If you can't connect on any of the nerdoms, like there are so many fandoms, like pick one. The more you can connect with somebody on those fandoms, the better. So, yeah. Who am I? Who are my people? And where am I going? I know exactly who I am. I have figured that out. Now I'm in the who are my people? I need to do a flow chart. I see a flow chart in my future. That's what it is. It's like a cocktail. No, this is it exactly. It's a cocktail of people. It's a cocktail of people where I've got this flow chart. Are you a nerd? Yes or no? Ooh, we're on to something. Does that need to be the first question? No. Are you a nonconformist? Now, this guy was boasting nonconformity. Oh, he was still in the patriarchy. See, that's the setback. See, yeah, nonconformity, that's the word. Nonconformist is way too vague. That's my problem. I need to narrow that down. So it's not nonconformist. It's... I do research. I do case studies. I do articles. Sometimes I get into these things and I'm like, where do I put this data? And I forget, at the end of the day, this is just like a laboratory. You're in my laboratory. That's really where you are. I call it a podcast, but really it's my laboratory. You are in my laboratory. And that's it, really. I spend most of my time in the laboratory. Usually I do this, well, all my life I've done this alone in front of my mirror, and that's it. Oh, all the data that I lost. That would have been amazing if I was recording this stuff when I was 8 and 10 years old. All right. Let's pretend this is television. Let's pretend this is television. And I have Discipulus out there. And let's pretend this is a laboratory, because it really is. It isn't a lesson. It isn't a classroom. It's a laboratory, because I do way too much where I come in here and I hypothesize my concepts. This is my laboratory. This is where my brain gets put on the table and I analyze my theories. And when I find something where I can go into a full, okay, this is my dissertation and this is my actual conclusion and this is what I need, and then I can put it together and I put it in a playlist and I say, there you go, there's triadic healing. But shifting perspectives is my laboratory, where I just dissect and pull apart sociology, psychology, philosophy, and I dissect the human condition. There, this is my research. I could do field research. Last night was field research. I went out, I got a whole lot of feelings. You know, there's this moment in Third Rock from the Sun. It's one of my favorite shows, Third Rock from the Sun. Oh my fucking God, I love it. By the way, John Lithgow, huge inspiration for me. I love John Lithgow. So it was actually the first episode. The very first episode, it was the pilot. I saw Dr. Albright last night and I got a whole lot of feelings from her, and I'm hoping to, well, I'm going to go see her tonight and I'm hoping to get even more feelings out of her. Like that is exactly, I got a whole lot of feelings out of her and I'm wanting to go back and see if I can't get more feelings out of her. Like, that is exactly how it feels. Every time I'm like, so I'm in my laboratory and I'm hypothesizing all day long. And now I'm going, all right, let's go, and this is the philosopher's laboratory. I'm connecting the dots here. Bear with me, people. The shifting perspectives is the philosopher's laboratory. And that's what it is. If I were a chemist, I'd have cameras pointed at all of the weird work I do, and there'd be like fizzy things, and it'd look like something out of Breaking Bad, and I'd have masks on, and I'd be like tons with acid, and yeah, that shit. That's right. That's the kind of shit I would be doing if I were a chemist. I'm not a chemist. I am a philosopher, and this is a laboratory for the philosopher. So this is the philosopher's laboratory. Welcome to Shifting Perspectives. I feel much better knowing this. See, identification, naming, it matters. This is how philosophy happens. The thing is, most philosophers have a classroom, students that they can sit down and debate with, but I don't have that. I've never had that because my brain is too big. So I've got my laboratory now. And I'm going, all right, I feel cozy now. This is my laboratory. You're a voyeur. That's what you are. You're a voyeur. And you're peeking into my world. So I really need to just assume the role of you are the voyeur. I don't have to entertain you. If you find me entertaining, fantastic. But that's not what I'm here. I'm feeling much better. I'm going to claim this. All right, I got this now. Defining my laboratory, because this is starting to really like, I felt my purpose with Shifting Perspectives change. And I'm like, God damn, it's changing. What do I do with this? And that's it exactly. It's a philosopher's laboratory. You're a bunch of voyeurs. And I just need to accept that that's okay. And the whole reason why I did any of this was because I needed to document my theory. Like, this is getting heavy. This all is. It's starting to get heavy. I felt it like 10 months ago going, wow, my theories are starting to get really heavy. I need to record this shit. And blogging is not cutting it anymore because I couldn't keep up with it. My brain was moving too fast. I did some healing and it opened up my brain and I went, whoa, I officially need to document this shit down because something's happening here. And that's when I started to realize that I'm smart. So, all right. When you think you're stupid, this is the psychology of stupid. This is the psychology of stupid. When you think you're stupid, your subconscious mind puts a damper on your brain and makes you stupider. And that reinforces your belief that you're stupid. And then you can say things like, see, I'm stupid. No, you only think you are. So your subconscious mind is now working to hold you into a cage. You're really fucking smart, but you think you're stupid. So you hold yourself and you limit yourself, and you are your own worst enemy. That is me dropping hints to my son. Okay, now, which I don't even know if he heard because he's got like these big gaming headphones on, but maybe he will. So, this is the Philosopher's Laboratory, and I am analyzing the human condition. And right now, I am in the chapter of relationships and community building and how to do these human connections, these emotional feeling connections with a bunch of strangers. So, nonconformity is definitely too broad of a term because that's attracting a lot of assholes. I learned that last night. Field research. That's when I went out and I said, you know what? Enough with the laboratory. I'm going to go do field research and collect data. So I walked away with I gave my number out to like 3 people. And one of these persons was like, oh my God, his brain was wonderful. And I'm like, ooh. And I could feel him holding back. He definitely still has the societal filters on. So this is how I view everybody. Whenever I meet somebody, it's okay. Where are you on the spectrum? I need to talk about the spectrum. I have not talked about the spectrum yet. You know what? I'm going to close this down. We're going to open the next video and I'm going to talk about the spectrum because it's a really big thing that's in my brain. It's a tool I use that I haven't talked to you about yet. Why do I need to talk to you about it? You're just a voyeur. Because I need this data recorded and may it entertain you and maybe you'll be able to use my research. All right, I'm going to shut this down, start it back up. If you love shit like this, like, subscribe, follow, comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you. And I'm building a community. Take a look at my Linktree account. All the information is below. There's a map. Take a look. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.